Alright, how's it going, everybody? This is Tough on Dirt, Gentle on Carpet, your Tavern Brawl guru. And today we had a special Tavern Brawl. It was basically a Raven Idol Tavern Brawl with, basically you had the Raven Idols warrior hand. Your entire deck was full of Raven Idols from the Druid deck. And so each turn you would play that Raven Idol and get to choose between a minion or a spell, and then get to discover whichever one you pick. And so I'm going to go through a couple classes with you. I think that there were some broken cards in this game because they were the Raven Isles were one cost spells, and that was pretty ridiculous. But those comboed a lot with certain classes, and especially with certain cards. And so the first one I'm going to talk about is Mage here. Mage had Archmage Antonidas, and that was just ridiculous. So what would happen is you'd play... If you got the coin, you could play Archmage Antonidas, then you could coin, get a fireball, play Raven Idol, get a fireball, and use the rest of your mana to get like more fireballs. And then by the time it was all said and done, you'd have like 6 fireballs in your hand, and you'd have the cards you got from Raven Idol. And even if Mage Antonidas was killed the next turn, whatever, he still did his job fairly well. Also on the Mage side, I think this guy's even more powerful than Mage Antonidas, or Archmage Antonidas, and that's going to be Flamewalker. And so Flamewalker, you'd get this card, and you'd say you could play it turn 3 and get it out there. But the better idea is actually to play it turn like 6, and then use your other 6 mana to deal basically 6 damage to like the face or to any minions on the board and completely clear it. And so I think Flamewalker over Mage Antonidas would have been my pick. I think Flamewalker for Mage was probably the best card you could get. I think Hunter also had a couple broken cards there. Number one being Lock and Load. And so what would happen is you play Lock and Load, and then you just play a ton of Raven Idols. And that was just ridiculous. And then, let's see. I think that was actually about it. Hunter only had that one card, but Hunter wasn't a bad class to play. I did see a lot of people playing Paladin. I don't know why, because to be honest, even better than Rogue, even better than Mage, even better than Hunter, there's Rogue. And I played Rogue my first class. I played it like 6 times. I lost 1 game, I think. And it's because Rogue just has so much removal. Like, you can sap, you can eviscerate, you can destroy. There's 2 destroys. I think there's Sabotage, and I also think there's Assassination. Both of those are really comparatively cheap, like to Entomb or to Recycle, for Druid, for example. And let's see, with Rogue, you had a couple broken cards. I think the broken one that I usually got was Shadowpan. And Shadowpan, besides the fact that you could always do a combo because you always had Shadowpan give you +3 attack if you did it in a combo. And so he was just like, he was a 6/7 for 5 mana, and he was ridiculous. And then of course, these guys are probably the most broken, I think. The Trogs. And so the Trogs show up, and the game's changed. I mean, you got I think the Trogzor is probably the worst one, because even when you try to kill him with a spell, or if there's no minions on the board, you have to kill him with a spell, and he summons a 3/5 burly rock Trog. And that thing, if you play too many Raven Owls, is just going to get huge and destroy you. And finally, Mana Addict. I didn't get a lot of chance to play Mana Addict, but I knew Mana Addict would be ridiculous in this matchup, just because you play her and you play like 6 Raven Idols or whatever, and you would have, how much is that up to? 13 damage on the board. And so yeah, Mana Addict was just kind of ridiculous. About the strats for the game, I think the best thing to do was to play your first 3 Raven Idols, just pure minions, and then start going for removal. So you go for, Assassinate, Sabotage, turn it into a sheep, anything that would deal damage and kill his next minion. And the thing is, a lot of times you get like a choice between a 2-drop and say like a really big 7/7 that you really want to have, like Archmage Antonidas, for example. The thing is, if you can play a 2-drop that has 2 attack, not only will that stop them from playing their next 3-drop if they have it, but they might actually use their air power and like ping and waste a turn trying to get rid of whatever you put down. And so really, early game was critical in this matchup because board clears and like specific spells weren't really a thing, and so little small creatures could actually get away with a lot of stuff. And the worst thing that I saw people do was coining out Raven Owl. Coining out Raven Owl was probably the worst thing you could do in this matchup because it literally didn't gain you any momentum. It was just kind of like, here, I got another minion in my hand, when you could have used that coin to actually get a bigger minion out quicker. And so overall, I think the main thing about this Tavern Brawl was really get the early game, and you would have been good. Anyway, I got a few games set up for you. You guys go on and take a look. And this is Tough on Dirt, Channel on Carpet, your Tavern Brawl guru, signing off.